Hello and welcome once again to Queensland Raceway for our coverage of round 3 of the Swann Super Series. I'm Lance Robertson, and along with Tim Graham, we're here to bring you all the action from our major support categories. We have the Racers World Pro Twins Naked Bikes and Super Twins 700s, along with the Freight Links Formula Oz B, C and D grade. But first up today is the continuation of the Shock Treatment 400 Super Sports. If you joined us for the first instalment of our round 3 coverage, Max Croker on his KTM was set to take another victory in the opening race of the weekend. But this fall on the penultimate lap of race 1 put paid to that. This allowed Hunter Ford aboard his Yamaha R3 to claim the top spot and race home to his first victory of the year. He'll start race 2 from pole position with Billy Van Erd, Yardy Shaw and Dan Thomas sitting with him on the front row. Row 2 has Jared Brook, Boyd Hocking, Max Croker and Matthew Beauchelle on it. Keogh Watson, Laura Brown, Mitchell Kuhn and Ryan Sellen share the third row of the grid, with Andrew Edzer, Steve Price, Matthew Cartoloni and Ryan Dadd on row 4. Hunter Ford, Billy Van Erd, Yardy Shaw and Dan Thomas. Who's going to get the best of the start? Oh, fairly even, but I think you'll find that our pole sitter has just been outdone by Billy Van Erd. He should get the run down into turn number 1 and does indeed take up the running on the KTM Australia Hunter Valley Motorsport KTM RC390.
And that's Max Crocker's already moved up into second spot in one corner, so he's made 5 positions on that start. An excellent start by the KTM rider.
Hunter Ford back there in third place on the yellow liveried machine, but look at them all bunching up the front 6. Any one of them could be leading by the time they negotiate the end of the bikehaggle.com.au straight and into iPone Oils up the inside there. Who was that?
That was Max Crocker
there.
It was
Max Crocker. Goodness me.
Van Erd's been relegated to third position. Hunter Ford's moved into second spot now. Nothing separating the top 3 at the moment. But look at Crocker. He's out in front and he's had a great start.
Hunter Ford
relegated to third position now, so that's Van Erd has gained that place on Hunter Ford. Yardy Shaw sitting in 4th position. Another one of the KTM riders sitting in 5th. So that's a Brook just behind Danny Thomas. But at the moment it's all Max Crocker. It looks like Danny Thomas has lost a few positions now. Looks like it's Brook and Hocking have got the better of him, but at the moment it is Max Crocker on his RC390 out in front by just under a second.
Yeah, Van Erd doing a good job back there in second place. Billy on board the KTM RC390, but it's all about Max Crocker. He's certainly been doing good.
Yes, it looks like Hunter Ford has moved up now. He's gone into, well, he was in the second spot.
He's just been overtaken by 2 riders because Yardy Shaw's now just got up the inside of him at the end of bikehaggle.com.au. Oh, Van Erd out of the seat there. Yardy Shaw goes wide. Hunter Ford takes both of them by the looks of it. Oh, Hunter Ford there has tapped the back of his backside. I think he wants Yardy Shaw to tag along with him to try and get up there in front. Here's another look at the pass again down at iPone Oils by Yardy Shaw. He had the perfect line and momentum when he overtook Hunter Ford, but then went too wide on the exit and allowed a number of his rivals through. But on screen at the moment we have the 29 of Billy Van Erd, Hunter Ford in 3rd place at the moment. So this battle for 2nd and 3rd, we'll concentrate on it for a little bit at the moment because Max Croker is out in front by the proverbial country mile by standards as up the inside goes Hunter Ford of Van Erd at the end of bikehaggle.com.au. And again, Hunter Ford taps the rear of his machine saying, come on, get behind me. Van Erd says, no, thank you. You get behind me.
Geez, quick little machine, that Van Erd machine, because that's the second time in 2 laps that he's blown past Hunter Ford's R3 Yamaha coming down into Sydney Motorsport Park ride days.
And Yardy Shaw back there, one further placing in 4th place at the moment, just looking on in amazement at what's happening in front of him.
Another good battle there too. It looks like Danny Thomas is a handful there.
Up the inside of the 21 of Jared Brook.
Good dice there for the minor placings there, but as Max Crocker crosses the line, first of the riders into the 24-second bracket.
Dan Thomas lining up, Brook there for a run down the end of Swann Insurance main straight through Matrice Dampers turn 1, unable to carry on with it.
Yeah, the gap now has gone up to 2 seconds here, but here's a replay of that overtaking manoeuvre of Hunter Ford over Van Erd. But it's all Max Crocker out in front, 2.1 second lead. I think he's increased that ever so slightly that time around.
Hunter Ford lining up for a run down bikebiz.com.au. Look at this, 3 wide, heading down into Races World. Oh, out of the saddle. It wasn't Hunter Ford indeed. This was one of the minor placings that we've got the battle for. It's Ryan Sellen.
Yes, he's on the @1 Pro race suit machine. Doing double duties today. He's just done a 1:29 second lap. But nothing separating these top 3. Great battle out in front here. Look at the 3 abreast. Yanni Shaw's up the inside. So Yanni Shaw's now moved into second spot. 4th to 2nd in one corner.
Ryan Sellen on the outside, on the inside of him, trying very hard as they head down the haggle.com.au back straight.
Here comes Hunter Ford around the outside, and he's been sandwiched there. Hunter Ford.
Looks like Hunter Ford, but it's not actually Hunter Ford because of the livery of it. It's very confusing. It got me for a while. With the glare that we're getting on the screen inside our commentary box at the moment, it's a little bit difficult to pick them up. So we do apologise for that, but certainly Hunter Ford is at the front of the pack as this battle now continues on in the same point of the circuit.
Yeah, for 5th, 6th and 7th, it's Brooke, Thomas and Hocking having a great battle there for the minor placings there. Danny Thomas going around the outside of Brooke there, can't quite do it.
Now he tucks in behind him, wants to get the run down the back straight, tries very hard as we're now at the end of that back straight. Yanni Shaw dancing around on the front wheel on that BC Performance Kawasaki Ninja 300. Now Dan Thomas up the inside. I think you'll find that was the 29, was it?
It's Jared Brook.
No, yeah, 21 of Jared Brook, you're right. As Van Erd gets up the inside of Hunter Ford. I can't believe how strong that program is.
He's done it pretty much every lap so far. It's very, very fast, but here comes Hunter Ford chasing him down through the corner there like he's right on the back wheel of that KTM. Van Erd hanging all over that machine.
Yanni Shaw left lingering in the background as this battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place goes down to the final corner for the final time. Checkered flag on display. Crocker should get it in a canter and does so. This battle for 2nd goes to Van Erd, Hunter Ford in 3rd, Yanni Shaw undoubtedly disappointed in 4th place. Then we go back to P5, Jarrett Brook, Dan Thomas ahead of Boyd Hocking, Keogh Watson, Laura Brown on the Kawasaki Ninja 300 finishing a very creditable 9th with Matthew Beaushaw rounding up the top 10.
Just tried to push hard at the front and keep consistent times. I knew I had a good gap and I didn't want to do what I did in the last one and have a crash, so I just tamed it down a bit and yeah, come away with the win. It was good.
Bikebiz.com.au is a fantastic partner of the Swann Super Series, and I'm here with Sam Connon from Matrice Dampers Supersport and, of course, our Don Nicholas, our apparel manager at Link International. Don, I want to have a chat to you first. Tell me, what is Macna?
Hi Becky, yeah, Macna's a brand from the Netherlands. They're making apparel since the year 2000 and Link International is now the official importer for Macna in Australia. So we're really excited with this new brand in Australia, and we've got Sam dressed up in one of our jackets, a mountain jacket with night eye technology that we're really keen to show you.
Talk to me about this technology. How does it work and how does it perform for our riders?
Yeah, no problem. Look, night eye is a technology that is developed by Macna. It's microscopic beads that reflect the light really, really well. So at night time for a bike rider, fantastic level of reflectiveness. So from a long distance, you're driving in a car, this stuff will stand out really strongly.
Now, you've got something in your hands. I want to know, talk to me about the CE armour. Does this protector have the CE armour in it?
It does, in the shoulders and the elbows, SafeTech CE armour. So that's CE approved through Europe, so it's an improved level of protection. So when Sam wears this jacket or any of the riders are riding on the weekend on their bikes, this quality level of armour protects them from impact and abrasion as well, so fantastic protection.
And Sam, I want to know, as a rider, how confident do you feel using this product?
Yeah, for sure. Look, I'm a learner on the road myself, and you can feel the protective nature of the jacket. The night eye technology really makes me feel confident in the night time, and yeah, every time I'm on the road, it's just a comfy ride.
Well, there you go, guys. You can take a look at all of these products online at bikebiz.com.au.
So we're just about set for race 3. Here's the full grid. Max Croker, Billy Van Eerd, Hunter Ford and Yanni Shaw share the front row, whilst row 2 is occupied by Jared Brook, Dan Thomas, Boyd Hocking and Keogh Watson. Laura Brown leads the third row with Matthew Beauchall, Andrew Edzer and Mitchell Kuhn alongside. Row 4 is filled by Ryan Sellen, Stephen Price, Robert Penman and Ryan Dadd.
In the starter's hands, look for a good one from Max Croker. Van Eerd gets a good one as well. Who will it be that leads him down the straight and into turn 1? It looks like it's Croker with Van Eerd right behind him. Hunter Ford being pushed aside there, I think you'll find, by Jared Brook.
Yeah, 3 KTMs out front at the moment there. Looked like was Jared Brook there. Hunter Ford relegated to 4th position. There's Yanni Shaw in 5th on his Kawasaki, and Danny Thomas there was 6th on his Yamaha. As they get ready to go, going down the bikehaggle.com.au back straight. Looks like Billy Van Eerd's got the better of Max Crocker going into iPhone Royals there, Lance, to take over the lead.
Oh, Dan Thomas forced wide, so too some further back through the field. Everybody taking a different line there as they're balked. Richard Draper, second last through that corner.
It looks like Max Crocker's got the lead back now from Billy Van Eerd. From Hunter Ford's now moved back up into 3rd position.
Something must have happened to Van Eerd down there, because he was quite comfortable in his front, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, but looks like he's lost a lot of ground there. Yanni Shaw is in 5th position, but here comes that Brook on his KTM up the inside of Hunter Ford.
Yeah, the number 21 Brook forcing Ford a little bit wide. Ford tries to come back on the inside. The happy snapper.
There's the huge field coming down the Swann Insurance main straight for the first time.
24 of them started this race, Tim. 24 throughout the entire day has been a very good combination in this 400 Super Sport. Yanni Shaw snapping to the inside of Hunter Ford. Shaw on the BC Performance's Kawasaki. Hunter Ford on board the Ford Brothers Racing Yamaha R3. Oh, side by side they clashed there. That was the number 21, I think you'll find, was it not, of Jared Brook?
Yeah, Jared Brook and Hunter Ford there coming together, it looks like Billy Van Eerd's got his hands full with Hunter Ford as well.
Yeah, I think Hunter Ford just went in a little bit too hot there, and Jared Brook tried to come across on front of him unexpectedly. Hunter Ford coming in there a lot quicker than what he expected.
Here's a battle out in front now. That is Billy Van Eerd just getting overtaken by Hunter Ford, so he's been relegated now to 3rd position.
Yeah, just to clarify, out in front is Max Crocker. He's 2.2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, and that is this battle for 2nd and 3rd place. Have a go at the speed of Van Eerd and the KTM as opposed to the Yamaha. Hunter Ford trying around the outside. He'll have none of it there down in Sydney Motorsport Park ride days. My goodness me, Van Eerd, very strong indeed.
Yeah, I think the size differential there helps a lot for Billy there. Hunter Ford's a lot physically bigger, but here comes Billy Van Eerd up the inside of Hunter Ford at the end of the bikebiz.com.au straight into racesworld.com.au.
Hunter Ford got on the gas too early there and almost ran into the back of him. He's shaking his head in disbelief. I don't think it's anything to do with Van Eerd. Van Eerd did nothing wrong there. I think you'll find, though, that it was Hunter Ford that just got on the gas a little bit early. In the meantime, the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th placing is on in earnest. Dan Thomas, Brook and Shaw.
Yeah, Dan Thomas there getting the better of the KTM and the Kawasaki rider that time around the circuit, so he's having a good ride there. He's Danny Thomas, number 152, but 3-second lead now by Croker. He's getting further out in front.
Croker, Van Eerd, Ford, Thomas and Brook, they're your top 5 runners at the moment. Croker has extended his lead to 3 seconds. In the meantime, this battle for 4th placing, Yanni Shaw going a little bit too wide there at the end of bikehaggle.com.au as he entered iPone Oils. And there is a passing for position again. This is 2nd place, Van Eerd. asserts his authority in no uncertain terms in this section of the circuit every lap. But Hunter Ford comes back strong in this section, Tim.
Yeah, he seems to have a bit more corner speed, Hunter Ford, but Billy Van Erd's definitely got the top speed over the Yamaha there, because you can see him coming down into Sydney Motorsport Park ride days. Every lap he seems to just gap him.
Yeah, and he says, well, bugger you, KTM or your Yamaha. My Kawasaki's going to lead you out of this corner. Van Erd, in the meantime, again gets back in front of Hunter Ford. Dan Thomas succumbs to the pressure of Hunter Ford. He wants a podium finish. So it's Crocker, Van Erd, Ford, Thomas and Brook in that order as they come down the end of the Swann Insurance straight through Matrice Dampers for the final time. Out of Dunlop Sportsmax, Hunter Ford slipstreaming Van Erd. Yanni Shaw slipstreaming Brook, but he's on the wrong side of him. Look at this, 3 wide coming down the end of bikehaggle.com.au. Dan Thomas, look at that, the R3 up the inside. Oh, bad luck for young Dan. He just tried too hard, too much, too late. Oh, what a disappointment for the youngster.
Yeah, it looked like he actually locked the brake up coming into that turn there. But here comes Billy Van Erd once again at that part of the circuit into Sydney Motorsport Park ride days.
It's all about our race leader, though, Max Crocker. A little bit of indiscretion early on. That's Richard Draper that's coming around to greet the last lap to go on board the Sugar Plum Racing Kawasaki.
But here comes Billy Van Erd having another big look up the inside of Hunter Ford. Looks like he's done it too there, Lance. He's moved into second spot. Here comes Hunter Ford. He's gone a little bit wide.
Van Erd just a little bit too wide. Hunter Ford up the inside. And look at this battle for Yanni Shaw and Brook, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow.
Looks like Shaw might have just got there then, I think, there, Lance.
I think he did, but Max Crocker, 6.573 seconds. Victorious ahead of Hunter Ford, Van Erd, Shaw, Brook and Hocking. Laura Brown, the first of the ladies. Keogh Watson, a creditable 8th placing. Matthew Beaushaw and Ryan Sillon rounding up your top 10.
The KTM was working really well in that race. It just tried to keep moving forward. It was cold track temp that time, so had to back the pace off a little bit, but it was great.
So even after his late race fall in the opening race of the weekend, Max Crocker continues to dominate the championship standings at the conclusion of round 3. He has a commanding 56-point lead over Hunter Ford and Yanni Shaw, who are tied for second on 158 points. Keogh Watson and Ryan Sillon round out the top 5. Don't go too far away, folks, because on the other side of this break, the exotics of the races World Pro Twins Naked Bikes and Super Twin 700s hit the track. Welcome back to a sunny Queensland Raceway as we continue our coverage of round 3 of the Swann Super Series. We're about to go racing with our next category, and that is the Pro Twins Naked Bikes and Super Twin 700, sponsored by Racers World, who are the only Australian permitting and licensing motorsport body that does both 2- and 4-wheel motorsport. Here are the points coming into this weekend, and the Ducati-mounted Heath Griffin leads the way on 151 points. 40 clear of Ben O'Connor aboard his Triumph. The evergreen Adrian Pierpoint sits 1 point shy of O'Connor in third, with Grant Barrett-Thompson and Brendan Watson rounding out the top 5. We're going to pick up the action with race 2, but first here's the highlights of race 1. It was Ryan Yanko who got the jump as the lights went out, and he steamrolled his way into Matrice Dampers turn 1, leaving his opposition in his wake. Not content with sitting in second spot, Heath Griffin wanted to continue his winning ways from the opening 2 rounds and closed rapidly to his fellow Ducati rider. But Yanko wasn't going to make it easy for the series leader. Meanwhile, behind them, the biggest battle of the race was between Grant Barrett-Thompson, Brendan Watson, Aaron Breesy and Adam Henn. This 4-way fight would go on for the entire 8-lap distance, and the Yamaha FZ1 of Watson would again get the upper hand over Barrett-Thompson's Aprilia at Ipone Oil's mid-race. At the front, however, Yanko could not be beaten. Despite Griffin's best intentions, Yanko's perfect getaway at the start propelled the Ducati rider to victory. Griffin finished 0.3 seconds adrift in second, with Adrian Pierpoint in third. So here's a grid for race 2. It's Yanko, Griffin, Pierpoint and Con Kokora sharing the front row, with Ben O'Connor, Brendan Watson, Aaron Breesy and Adam Hendon occupying the second. On the third row, it's Grant Barrett-Thompson, Peter Stamolis, Ben Davidoff and Alex Matajevic, with Ian Godwin, Richard Draper, Kevin Corcoran and Brian Bolster on the fourth and final row.
We're in the starter's hands. It's going to see who gets the jump into Matrice Dampers for the first time. But look at it's a great drag race down the line between. Is that Kokoris?
Yeah,
had a good
Kokoris
start.
got a good start. Gets the nose chopped off there.
Gee, lucky to stay.
Dampers.
Lucky to stay on the circuit. There was Kokoris running very wide through Matrice Dampers into Dunlop Sports Max.
I think he's got to take a lion's share of responsibility for that. Both he and the rider that went around the outside of him, which I think was Con Kokoris, was it? No, it was Ryan Yanko, I beg your pardon. Both trying to fight for the same racing line. The number 4, the Aprilia Tuono, though, of Adrian Pierpoint, coming on very strongly. He's up there early on. There's Richard Draper on the Sugar Plum Racing entry.
Brett Bolster too on that little SV650 Suzuki, one of the leading Pro Twin 700 machines. But it's all Ryan Yanko at the moment with Adrian Pierpoint there and getting in front of Heath Griffin. So Ryan's out the front of Adrian Pierpoint. Heath Griffin's relegated to 3rd position.
6-way battle for 4th place as they head out of Races World for the rundown Swann Insurance Main Straight. All being headed at the moment by Adrian Breesy on 58.
He's on his RSV4 Aprilia. So we have a Ducati leading in Aprilia with Heath Griffin on his Panigale Ducati in 3rd position. But Adrian Pierpoint at the moment is having a great ride sitting there in 2nd spot, really taking it up to Ryan Yanko at the moment.
As I mentioned earlier on, and if you only just joined us, then Adrian Pierpoint a couple of weeks ago was here at Queensland Raceway doing a bit of practice. Unfortunately blew up the Aprilia Tuono and had to source a new engine. This one was only put in a couple of days ago, so he's done a fine job to be able to get it up to the pointy end of the field so early.
Well, it looks like Heath Griffins may have a little bit of trouble getting out of the corners there. Lance is going very wide, but the battle out front is letting him close down into 2nd spot. Evenly positioned now between Ryan Yanko and Adrian Pierpoint.
So Yanko, Pierpoint and Griffin, they're on screen at the moment. Now looking at the battle between Breesy, Watson, Kokoris, O'Connor and Barrett Thompson. And that is the battle for 4th through to 8th place respectively.
Yanko still leading at the moment, a 13.4 second lap there. Heath Griffin a 13.4 as well, so very, very close times between the top 3 runners. Pierpoint a 13.5.
Here's another look at the pass on Aaron Breesy by Con Kokoris at Races World Turn 6. The Ducati rider had plenty of momentum down the bikebiz.com.au back straight and was successful in executing that pass.
Yes, but look at the power there to the ground. That Aprilia is very fast, and he's gone round the outside. Who's got the biggest brakes into Ipone Oils? Looks like Yanko.
Well, I think they've both got about the same size brakes, but Yanko had the racing line. Now the Tuono trying to get the drive on the inside. Decides to go a little bit wider. That's probably a fairly wise decision because under brakes he could get up the inside down in Sydney Motorsport Park ride days, but wasn't able to do it.
There's Yanko maintaining that position in 1st spot there. Looks like he's got a bike length or 2 from Adrian Pierpoint. Heath Griffin, though, hasn't got an answer for either of these riders out in front.
He's dropped off the pace a little bit there, but I think he's just settling himself in, Tim. I mean, we're on lap 4 of 8 at the moment, so we're only half race distance as we take an opportunity to look back at this battle at the end of bikehaggle.com.au straight leading into Ipone Oils on that last lap. And you could see the way there that Ryan Yanko just maintained his pace, even though a very strong challenge from Adrian Pierpoint on the outside, just on the wrong side of the circuit.
There's a good battle here too. There's that Brendan Watson and Breesy as well on his Aprilia. Here comes Watson having a big look up the inside, can't quite do it. Good battle all the way down the field. This is for 6th and 7th position. Graham Barrett Thompson's behind them in 8th, and Hend and Stamoulis round out the top 10.
Yeah, plenty of action still throughout the rest of the field, though.
But here comes Heath Griffin's closed right down onto Adrian Pierpoint now. So it's Adrian's made another mistake, looks like somewhere down the track. But
well, has he got mechanical dramas? Maybe he's got something not quite right with that Tuano, because he's dropped right off the pace, hasn't he?
He has dropped off the pace, and it's very close now for Heath Griffin to get into second spot on the road. The leaderboard is Yanko, Pierpoint, Griffin, Kokoris and Ben O'Connor.
On screen is the battle for second place. As we've mentioned before, it looked like the Tuano of Adrian Pierpoint had some problems, but he's come back on fairly strong there.
Very good. Oh, that's outbraked himself there. Heath Griffin trying to have a big manoeuvre up the inside there. Couldn't quite do it.
I think he might have been balked by all of the animation of Adrian Pierpoint. Looked like he was having troubles with his clutch.
It looked like a bit of a wobble too for the Ducati going down into Sydney Motorsport Park ride days.
Race leader Griffin in the meantime though, Yanko in the meantime though, threading the needle through the lap traffic as he heads down the bikebiz.com.au internal straight towards the final turn, Races World for the final time.
Yes, here comes Ryan Yanko. It looks like he's going to have 2 from 2 so far. A good ride there by the Ducati rider, and a drag race too, because it looks like Pierpoint just got the better of Heath Griffin as they cross the line.
But it looks like Yanko, Pierpoint, Griffin, Kokoris, O'Connor, Watson, Greasy, Barrett, Thompson, Hend and Stamoulis round up your top 10.
We've got to get through the last race of the day for Pro Twins and also Superbike on this bike here. Keep the shiny side up and try and stay ahead of these two. Give me a hard time.
Our grid for this third and final race of the Pro Twins and Naked Bikes sees row 1 occupied by Ryan Yanko, Adrian Pierpoint, Heath Griffin and Con Kokoris, with Ben O'Connor, Brendan Watson, Aaron Breesy and Grant Barrett-Thompson occupying the second row. Row 3 is Adam Hinn, Peter Stamoulis, Ian Godwin and Richard Draper, with the fourth and final row filled out by Alex Mahajevic, Kevin Cochran, Brian Bolster and David Broderick. Well, the field is set and ready to go, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome the CEO of Races World, Laurie Muntz, to provide special comments for this third race of the Pro Twins.
Underway, a good start there from our pole sitter Ryan Yanko. He has been dominant in this Races World FX Pro Twins class, and he does get the whole shot down the inside. Adrian Pierpoint getting a good run up the inside of, I think you'll find it was Heath Griffin, and takes up the running of second placing as they head down into Dunlop Sportsmax for the first of 8 times. But it's all about Ryan Yanko. It has been all day in this category of racing, and he's doing a great job early on, Laurie.
Yes, he is.
Down the end of the bikehaggle.com.au, back straight into iPone Oils. I wonder whether the Gold Coast property developer Adrian Pierpoint on his Aprilia Tuano in second place will be able to get close enough to mount a challenge against Ryan Yanko. He did at one stage in race number 1, but then dropped off the pace. The 1199 Ducati just a little bit supreme in horsepower over the Aprilia Tuano. So 3 different formulas in 2 different classes, plus the Super Twins as part and parcel of it as well. We have Formula 1, 2 and 3 in the Pro Twins, and Formula 1, 2 and 3 in the Naked Bikes, and the Super Twins in the outright for their own class of racing. So there's 7 different races within the one, which is great as part of the Races World FX Pro Twins, Naked Bikes and Super Twins. Down towards the bottom end of the circuit will be the run at the end of the bikehaggle.com.au straight. See plenty of action in the distance. There it is on screen now for you. You can see the Tuano of Adrian Pierpoint doing a great job on his home track. Laurie, I don't know whether you caught up on the news, but in fact a couple of weeks ago the race leader here, Adrian Pierpoint, was on this track, was doing some qualifying practice and ended up blowing up an engine. So this bike has only been put together 2 days ago, and this engine is very strong indeed, isn't it?
Oh, it's nice to watch. Yeah, he's obviously got it back together well.
Here's a replay now of the overtaking manoeuvre down the end of the bikehaggle.com.au back straight. You could see the Aprilia Tuano there of Adrian Pierpoint just getting the draft on the exit of Dunlop Sportsmax. Maximised the slipstreaming, and just a little opportunity provided to him by Ryan Yanko, and that's all he needed to do was to take it. You can see that he's looking at wanting to chuck an Adrian Pierpoint on Adrian Pierpoint and try and out slipstream him, but that Tuano's got some good mumbo on the exit of Dunlop Sportsmax. Down into iPone Oils, as there's Richard Draper just ahead of, I think you'll find Corcoran. This is for 13th and 14th placing. So the Tuano RSV 1000R of Richard Draper. Sugar Plum Racing, the ever flamboyant Richard Draper. Loves to be able to have all sorts of different colours. This weekend he's got the purple livery on the back of his number plate on the front. You can't miss him. Yenko up the inside of Pierpoint. Yenko out of the saddle again as he saw Pierpoint come back onto him. Now it's Yenko again. It's a drag race down the Swann Insurance main straight, heading down towards Matrice Dampers. Who will it be? It's Yenko, but he looks very unsettled there, as the Tuano of Pierpoint gets a much tighter line, heading down towards Dunlop Sportsmax. This is only lap 5 of 8. Still plenty of racing under the leathers to go yet.
This is edge of the seat racing.
It's great, isn't it?
It is.
Here he comes back again, the Tuano up the inside. Pierpoint takes up the running. He goes too wide, outbreaks himself. Will he get the drive on the inside for the run down Dunlop towards Sydney Motorsport Park Ride Days turns 4 and 5? He doesn't, he can't, he won't, but he'll certainly try again next time round. Here's a replay of Yenko getting up the inside last time around down in turn number 6. And that is Races World turn. Quite ironically, at that point in time, almost unseated himself. Out of Dunlop Sportsmax for the rundown by Kegel.com. Adrian Pierpoint trying to outbreak Ryan Yenko. He does that this time around, forces Yenko wide. Adrian Pierpoint gets the drive out of iPone Oils. This is the penultimate lap. He needs to maintain enough of the gap ahead of Yenko, because Yenko's strong in this final sector of the circuit. You can see him coming on very hard down through Sydney Motorsport Park Ride Days. Out of the two left-handers that lead down the bikebiz.com.au internal straight towards racesworld.com, a very popular overtaking area of the circuit. Not this time around though, Yenko. He decides discretion being a little bit better part of valour. Backs off a little bit. Pierpoint, he's not backing off. He's wringing the neck off that Aprilia Tuano. Last lap board being shown. Down into Matrice Dampers for the last time. Adrian Pierpoint, he has not succumbed so far. In race number 1, the battle ended virtually 3/4 of the way through the race. Not this time around though. Adrian Pierpoint 0.129 seconds ahead of Ryan Yenko when they passed the strike line to complete their last lap, which they're on now. At the end of bikehaggle.com.au, down into iPone Oils for the last time. One senses, Laurie, that it's only Adrian's race to lose from here.
Yes, he seems to have the front.
He's got a good drive out of iPone Oils and down into Sydney Motorsport Park Ride Days. I think he's broken the back of the challenge from Ryan Yenko and should take victory here by a comfortable margin. Heading out of Sydney Motorsport Park Ride Days for the rundown bikebiz.com.au straight into Races World for the last time. Adrian Pierpoint, tip your hat to him. He's done a great job in this 8-lap encounter of the Races World FX Pro Twins Naked Bike and Super Twins event, and he'll greet the checkered flag a comfortable few seconds. No, in fact, it was only 1 second ahead of Ryan Yenko. Heath Griffin, a bit of a lonely ride in third place. He'll come across the line now, some 7.7 seconds behind Yenko. Con Kokoris, Ben O'Connor, Brendan Watson, Aaron Breesy, Grant Barrett-Thompson, Adam Henn, and rounding up P10 is Peter Stamoulis on his Aprilia RSV4.
It's just a long weekend, and I know that you've got to sort of pace yourself and real little changes to the bike as you go, you know, and yeah, that's pretty much as it is. I'm looking at their 2 tyres and they're a lot better than mine, so I was actually having a little bit of trouble out there, so maybe I still got a little bit of work to do with my settings.
As we take a look at the points after the third round, Heath Griffin still leads the way on 207. But look who's jumped up into second place. It's Adrian Pierpoint, who has benefited tremendously after today's racing and has even brought the gap down to 34. O'Connor, Barrett-Thompson and Watson round out the top 5. Well, there's still plenty more racing to come on the other side of this break as the Freight Links Formula Oz class hits the track. Thanks for sticking with us at the Queensland Raceway for the third round of the 2017 Swann Super Series. Riders are on the track getting themselves ready for race 2 of the Freightlink's Transport Formula Oz B, C and D grade event. It's the Run What You Brung class that always provides loads of on-track entertainment. As they get themselves ready, here's the points heading into this weekend. In the B grade standings, Brett Kitchen leads the way on 113. 20 clear of Carlos Rendon in second and 36 clear of Michael Witchard in third. In the C grade standings, the top 3 are filled out by Mark Nassif, John Gabriel Lane and John Howie. Whilst in the D grade standings, it's Will Stewart who is ruling the roost ahead of Aaron Smith and Craig McNaughton. They've already contested one race today, so let's have a look at what happened. It was fiercely competitive right from the word go as Andrew Thompson, Dane Purcell and Carlos Rendon all battled for bragging rights on the opening lap. By the time they reached Ipone Oils, it was Thompson that gained control ahead of Dean Hasler aboard his BMW, followed by Purcell and Rendon. The top 3 would settle into a pattern, but points leader Brett Kitchen made a terrible start and was fighting his way back into formalities as the laps ticked by. He had a great mid-race battle with Tom Taparis, who was making his Formula Oz debut this weekend and was immediately on the pace. It wasn't long before Kitchen was knocking on the door of the top 3 finish, and it wasn't long before the red mist descended inside the helmet of the BMW rider. But back at the front, no one could stop Andrew Thompson aboard his BMW S1000RR. He took the win ahead of Hasler aboard another BMW with Purcell in third on his Yamaha R1. So here's how they line up for race 2. It's Thompson, Hasler, Purcell and Rendon occupying the front row, whilst Kitchen leads the second with Tom Taparis, Paul Curran and Jean-Gabriel Lane joining him. Row 3 is occupied by Harry Boyajian, Mark Nassif, Josh Kavanagh and Mark Wolford, with Will Stewart, Di Jones and Shane Ryan rounding out the field on row 4.
Good start there by, does it look like Purcell's got the whole shot there, Lance, into Matria's dampers for the first time.
Yeah, not for long though. The 12 of Andrew Thompson resumes condition normal and race lead as he heads out of Matrice dampers down into Dunlop Sports Max. Somebody trying to go right round the outside of Dane Purcell there in a place that you normally wouldn't overtake, Tim, getting it out onto the marbles and onto the ripple strip, almost onto the dirt on the outside.
Yeah, that looked like it was Hasler, but looks like Brett Kitchen's just got the better of Hasler going down the bikehaggle.com.au back straight. But big move there by Hasler up the inside of, was that inside of Kitchen and Purcell, but couldn't hold on to it.
No, I think he's relegated himself back to third place there. Oh, look at the speed that he's got going down into Sydney Motorsport Park ride days.
Yeah, that BMW is very fast. Out of the seat too, just in front of Dane Purcell. He's trying very hard, is Hasler. But it's Thompson out in front where he left the race 1.
Yeah, Andrew Thompson, the Queenslander on the BMW S1000RR, doing a great job ahead of the like-mounted Dean Hasler from New South Wales. So it's state against state, mate against mate.
Yeah, Kitchen's just got the better of Purcell as well, so he's moved into third spot. A good ride there by Brett, first time around. Purcell now relegated to fourth position.
Yeah, Brett Kitchen, as we mentioned in race number 1, has virtually got this bike only a few days ago. It's only got about 250 kilometres on the clock.
Not even run in yet, but it's going very well at the moment.
Okay, let's have a look at a replay of an incident that occurred. Rider here getting out of the saddle, getting off the gravel, and in through a bit of water, and then hitting the bank. Goodness gracious me, he was lucky to get away with that. That was on the exit of Sydney Motorsport Park Ride Days, turn 5.
Brett Kitchen closing right down on Hasler now too, so the lap times 0.2 of a second. Kitchen was quicker. Very similar machines, both BMWs. Dane Purcell just sitting behind there. Brett Kitchen can't get the better of Hasler at the moment. But 3 BMWs, first, second and third. This dominant force at the moment. First of the Japanese brands is Purcell in fourth. Taparis has moved up on his little ZX6.
Oh, Dane Purcell up the inside of Brett Kitchen, manages to keep it all upright. and through Ipone Oils, gets good drive as well. Now up onto the back of Hasler as he heads down Dunlop towards Sydney Motorsport Park Ride Days. Good run from Dane Purcell.
Yeah, good battle behind them too. Tom Taparis and Carlos Rendon battling out for 5th and 6th position, but the battle now is really hotting up there, Lance, for 2nd spot. Purcell's going to have a big look up the inside of Hasler. Can he do it?
Wow.
Oh, he does too. Up the inside, looks put Hasler off a little bit then.
Yeah.
And Kitchen's come through as well, so a bit of a balk there from Dane Purcell, which caught him unawares.
Certainly thrilled some of the pit entourage, didn't it, on the side of the pit wall there. So Brett Kitchen up into 3rd place there. He can thank Dane Purcell for that, can't he?
That's right. Yeah, definitely startled Hasler, you'd have to say, as he would come around that corner. Wasn't expecting him to be overtaken there.
Let's have a look again at this overtaking manoeuvre. As you can see, Dane Purcell gets up the inside of Dean Hasler, who gets balked momentarily. Almost looks like he missed a gear on the exit there, Tim. And that allowed the opportunity for Brett Kitchen to capitalise on the opening and occupy 3rd placing. So it's BMW, Yamaha, BMW, Kawasaki of Tom Taparis. A great ride for him up into 5th place. The Yamaha R1 of Carlos Rendon rounding up P6.
Yes, a good ride there by Tom Taparis, giving quite a bit away in power with the 600cc machine, but he's cleared well away from Rendon and Curran now.
Okay, he's on the 6. Okay, I thought he was on the ZX10, 1000. That's what he was entered under anyway. So he's definitely on the 600.
Yep. And doing a great job there, pulling away from the bigger machines behind him of Curran, Rendon, Bjorjan,
Brett
Nassif.
Kitchen,
Brett
back up the inside now of Hasler, occupying 3rd place. He's determined. He wants to finish on the podium. He wants to reward his supporters for the help that has been given to him with this new bike. Let's have a look at a replay of what happened here with Brett Kitchen getting up the inside, getting the draft down bikehaggle.com.au. And again, that unsettled Hasler on the lead into Ipone Oils. And the BMW of Kitchen just getting the upper hand of the BMW of Hasler.
Yes, but here comes Thompson coming into the Sydney Motorsport Park Ride Days part of the circuit.
As you mentioned, Tim, they're on their last lap now, heading down towards the internal section. Only a couple of corners to go. It's all Andrew Thompson, the Queenslander.
Hasler's got the better of Kitchen too around that the mid part of the circuit there.
Yeah, that'd be disappointing for him, won't it, in the latter stages?
He's gone a little bit wide there, Hasler. Who's going to get the drive down the straight? But here comes Thompson to take the checkered flag. Dane Purcell in 2nd spot, and it looks like it is Hasler getting the better of Kitchen for the 3rd and 4th position.
Here we have the results. Let's recap them for you. Thompson, Purcell, Hasler, Kitchen, Taparis, Curran, Rendon, Boyajian, Nassif and Kavanagh.
Whole shot in both races, but no, good. Yeah, had a 2-second lead and just try to keep it there and conserve the rear tyre and keep it happening for the rest of the day, hopefully, and tomorrow.
Well, Andrew Thompson has every reason to smile so far in round 3, but can he make it a clean sweep? He starts the 3rd and final race on pole ahead of Dane Purcell, Dean Hasler and Brett Kitchen. Row 2 has Tom Taparis, Paul Curran, Carlos Rendon and Harry Boyajian together. Row 3 sees Mark Nassif, Josh Kavanagh, Shane Ryan and Will Stewart share the duties, with Di Jones joined by John Gabriel Lane and Mark Wolford on the 4th and final row.
Will anyone have an answer for Andrew Thompson and his BMW?
Well, he's been a dominant force, hasn't he? He's got a good start, but so too did Dane Purcell up the inside. And look out, here comes Brett Kitchen. He's bitching up the inside. Can't quite do it though, but he does relegate Thompson back to 3rd momentarily. Although Thompson gets good run around the outside. Kitchen doesn't give it up though, but Dane Purcell has made the best of the start.
Oh, was that Hasler going up the inside of Thompson there too, really touching handlebars then?
So it was Thompson, Purcell, Hasler and Kitchen on the front row of the grid, but it ain't like that now. Purcell down the back straight, Kitchen in 2nd. Here comes Hasler around the outside, and Thompson relegated back to an uncharacteristic, unusual 4th placing.
Yeah, they haven't had an answer for him so far today, but look at Hasler up the inside of Kitchen through turn 3 there in the Sydney Motorsport Park ride days. Kitchen's been relegated to 3rd in one corner.
Wow, look at this. We've had 4 different changes of the lead in 4 corners. Okay, I exaggerate. It was 5.
Tom Taparis is up there as well, sitting in 5th position on the ZX6R for Cube Racing machine.
Well, this is what we're more used to, Tim, with the Freight Links Transport Formula Oz class of racing. A good 6 or 7 riders. 6. Hasler, Purcell, Thompson, Kitchen, Taparis and Rendon, all with a realistic chance of taking this one out in the early stages. Although having said that, Hasler, he's bolted. He was half a second in front when he crossed the strike line. I reckon he's a second in front now as he heads down the back straight, bikehaggle.com.au back straight.
Yeah, it looks like Purcell's been relegated to 3rd position. Thompson's moved up into 2nd spot now, chasing down Hasler. Brett Kitchen still there, Carlos Rendon, and Tom Taparis just behind Rendon there, sitting in 5th spot. But yeah, you're right there. Hasler has definitely pulled a decent gap there. It was only half a second last time around, but it looks like, if anything now, that Thompson has pulled back that little bit of a gap there now. He's pulling away from Dane Purcell. Brett Kitchen still right there in 4th position. Another BMW out front there in front of another BMW. So there's 3 BMWs there in the top 4.
And look at Tom Taparis on that little ZX6.
He's going well,
back in
isn't he?
6th place. Here's a manoeuvre up the inside now of Hasler by Thompson. Thompson wants to resume the race lead and the dominance that he's had in the Formula Oz so far this weekend. Dane Purcell has dropped off the pace a little bit, although having said that, he just picked up some good drive out of Ipone Oils.
Yeah, look at the gap already. Thompson in one corner there going through Sydney Motorsport Park ride days. He's got out in front where we've seen him all day today. Race number 1st and 2nd race victories for the BMW rider there. 1:12.3 for him at the moment. Fastest lap of the race. Big manoeuvre up there. Great under brakes going into Ipone Oils there. But Hasler didn't give it away too easy, did he? He was trying very, very hard there.
That's a very important part to pick up on as well, Tim, because the more you lean in that corner, the wider you get, but sometimes that gives you the best drive out of turn 3. Part of the Cube Racing entries is the number 7 of Tom Taparis. Did a good job in the smaller bore bikes. Look at that now up the inside of Carlos Rendon again as they head out of Dunlop Sportsmax. Using up all of the track and some. I thought he'd gone a little bit wide. Oh my goodness me, he'll have a trip to the dry cleaners overnight, I'm sure.
Yeah, only him and his dry cleaner knows how close that one was there, Lance. But onto the dirt, throwing up a bit of dust. They're trying very, very hard is Tom Taparis.
Brett Kitchen, in the meantime, has not given up the opportunity of getting onto the podium in this 3rd and final 8-lap Freight Links Transport Formula Oz race of the day. Here's a replay now of Carlos Rendon being overtaken on the inside there of Tom Taparis. And then Tom Taparis just goes that little bit too wide through Dunlop Sportsmax.
Just managed to keep it onto the circuit there, didn't he? But very, very close there for him. It's all Andrew Thompson at the moment on his BMW from Hasler. Great battle here between these two for the final podium position.
It's going to go right down to the wire, isn't it? They're on the penultimate lap. Brett Kitchen, will he be able to take the opportunity in the final 8 turns of this race out of the first part of Sydney Motorsport Park ride days through the second left-hander and for the run down bikebiz.com.au? Gets a good run, does Kitchen, up the inside of Purcell into Races World, the final corner for the second last time. The BMW rider has done it so far. Will he be able to maintain the gap that's necessary? At the moment, he's about 0.2 of a second ahead of Dane Purcell, so there's not much in it, Tim.
So that's a BMW 1-2-3 on the road at the moment, so a good rider for Brett Kitchen. Left his move to the end of the race. Purcell still trying to hold on there.
Will he have the drive out of Dunlop Sportsmax for the rundown bikehaggle.com.au and outbrake his opponent into Ipone Oils? The answer to that
is no, not at this stage. And he can't do it again because they won't be having another lap through that corner anyway, so he's going to have to do it somewhere else. Squirrely under power. Brett Kitchen still leading this battle for third place. Down the end of Dunlop into Sydney Motorsport Park ride days for the last time. In the meantime, our race leader, Andrew Thompson, he's broken the back of the challenge of Hasler, who will have to settle for second place. But all eyes on the battle for third. First and second negotiate races well without any dramas. Purcell tried the wide line, outbroke himself. That's it, done and dusted. He'll finish in fourth and hand Kitchen over a podium and a BMW 1, 2, 3, 2. Andrew Thompson victorious. Dean Hasler and Brett Kitchen making it a 1, 2, 3 for BMW. Dane Purcell, the first of the Japanese manufacturers on the R1 Yamaha, finished ahead of the pint-sized pocket rocket in this field, the Kawasaki ZX6 of Tonka Paris. Carlos Rendon, Jean-Gabriel Lane, Paul Curran, Harry Boyajian and Mark Nassif on his Kawasaki round up the top 10.
Yeah, definitely good. They made me work for that one though. It was hard. I made a bit of a mess of turn 1, 2 and 3, but fought our way back and got there in the end. It was good. More fun than the first two races.
Brett Kitchen continues to lead the Formula Oz B grade after an indifferent start to the weekend. The gap between himself and Carlos Rendon has opened very slightly to just 22 points, and Dane Purcell jumps into the top 3 after today's strong showing. In the C grade standing is still Mark Nassif, Jean-Gabriel Lane and John Howie, whilst the D grade standings sees Will Stewart continue his dominance, with Shane Ryan now in second and Aaron Smith dropping to third. That concludes our coverage of round 3 of the Swann Super Series for 2017. But that's not the end of the racing here at Queensland Raceway just yet. We still have all the action from round 4 as part and parcel of our doubleheader meeting, and we look forward to your company then.